Good morning, people. Welcome to United View and welcome to Good Morning View. Welcome to match day as well. Big game down at the Amex tonight against the Seagulls down there. I'm on my way down there later on. I am not looking forward to it at all.
I saw that and I saw some criticism, Flex. I saw some criticism, Sim, saying, why are you being so negative? Why are you being so pessimistic?
I know. Maybe it's reverse judge. I don't know. I'm not confident. Need to win at some time. I'm not confident.
Just remembered what you said.
I said it this morning, mate. I said it this morning. I said it in a preview. I've said it. I've been saying it. Saying it. I don't like this game, and I would love to come away from this game tonight, driving back, going, you know what? Wow, didn't see that coming. Well done, boys. Well done. 2 more wins left. 2 more wins. Imagine we could win the next 2. Imagine we won the next 3 in a row, then we can have the other 3 games off. Well, not off because we want to finish third, but do you know what I mean? I would love that. But anyway, that's match day today. We've got a lot of important things to talk about today, though. Ten Hag transfer frustration. Ten Hag with apparently Manchester United have, according to Financial Fair Play, 100 million to spend plus player sales. We're going to get into that. Varane injury boost as well in terms of the FA Cup final. So a lot to get our teeth into. You guys get involved in the chat. I can see all the members in there. Nessie says, morning, everyone. Morning, everybody, says Hanson. Morning, says Assad. Just Kevon says, good morning. Hi, everyone, says Pete. Big up to you, Pete. And Charlie says Glazers out, of course. Kristen, good morning to you, my bro. Morning, all. Leo says thumbs up and a kiss in the good morning, peeps. Good up. And lastly, Daniel, big up Daniel Luciano, says morning, UV fam. Get your comments in. Yes, exactly. The last time I did go to Brighton was the real. I have not been there, so you know, if anything, that one I definitely learned. That one was too. You know, Christopher says, touch the goals, Flex. What do we have to lose? Feeling the way you do. Perfect time to prove the judge ain't for real. I haven't been to the Amex beforehand to do a preview, so I haven't. No, I'm sorry. I like that though, Christopher, because you're getting behind me. You're saying that. Don't worry. It's fine. Got nothing to lose. Prove the judge ain't real. Early super chat. First of the day, Sanjeet Gill says, tough game. Maybe take a point and get out of there. That's a handshake, by the way. I hope it looks like that.
Very awkward one.
Yeah, because I can't get in the box.
Let's shake hands on it. No worries.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to.
Sideways. Anything in my left hand, it's not going to work. Mate. I'm very, very not coordinated. That's all. I wouldn't even go in with that. I can't be bothered.
But anyway, I get what you're saying. If you was to offer me a draw and get out, I would take it. But if we can win, it would just be brilliant. And Daniel Luciano, big up to you, man, says, thank you, UV, for always giving me company at 4 a.m. 4 a.m.
This is what I always say. The international fans never, ever, 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 ever doubt their enthusiasm, their loyalty. Because I posed you the question, I'd say, hey, with some of the United games in recent years, would you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning? Would you get up at 3 to watch Man United lose 7-0 to Liverpool?
And you got work at you got to start going work at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. So you'd watch the game for 2 hours. So you'd finish at 5. Is there any point in going to sleep? Maybe get a shut eye for an hour till 6, maybe 2 hours sleep. You might go sleep. If you'd have to have broken sleep, you'd have to go sleep at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., wake up for the game, then go back to sleep for a couple of hours. But honestly,
the only thing I can equate it to is being a wrestling fan and deciding, okay, I'm going to watch this event at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. And then you're an hour and a half into it and you're like, this is shit.
But it's all right because I used to do that for boxing. I do it for the playoffs, in NBA. I've done for big one-off things where I go, I want to watch that one thing.
But
38 Premier League
every week.
Nah, mate. No. And and obviously the midweek ones, but the midweek ones might help them because that's
a bit different.
8 PM,
Yeah.
But still, anyway, you get my drift. Well done to you lot.
I told you it would happen, Flex.
No. So if you don't, well, you won't know. Before we went live, Owen said, Asda are a disgrace and a cheat. Asda are always good for me. So if you're watching and you want to sponsor the channel, there's no problem with that. This is Owen's personal experience of your delivery of shopping. And he said, I've ordered it to come here before 9 and it's late and it's going to be late. And what's going to happen is as soon as we go live or during the show, they're obviously going to buzz. They're going to buzz and I'm going to have to go get shopping. And that's exactly what's happened. So rather than me just looking a bit crazy, let me switch that. Oh, he's still there. Oh, because I've got to take him out now. There you go. We'll go like that. We'll go like that until Owen comes back. But yes, this morning we're going to talk about Ten Hag in the dark over transfers because let's be honest, he doesn't know what we have to spend. We're looking at the takeover. We don't know what's going to happen with the takeover. Laurie Whitwell was reporting that, the Athletic is saying, as it stands, Man United are looking at a budget of around £100 million due to FFP. This would be the case even under Qatari owners. Wiping away the debt would allow for more flexibility, but the way the way for United to really raise additional money is via player sales. And also, Ten Hag was talking about the summer budget. He said, quote yesterday, "I don't have influence on that. Also, I don't know. The level of your players decides if you are successful or not. Everyone knows high-level players cost a lot of money." I mean, Laurie Whitwell spoke about this during, I think it was while the bidding process was going on quite early, saying that, actually, no, it was while we was talking about Kane and Osimhen and stuff. And he was saying, look, even to get Harry Kane, forget Osimhen because he's probably going to cost more. But even to get Harry Kane, like, it's going to be 100 million plus or thereabouts. And Man United, due to FFP, are absolutely struggling. That is really concerning to know that we've got, only 100 million to spend outright from FFP. So also, if you think about it, let's say we have to sell players, which we do. How much could we realistically sell and how much would we raise from player sales? And we've kind of been through this quite a bit, haven't we? Where, we go through this player's worth this much, that player's worth this much. This player, we can get this much for him. Who's the most sellable assets? Who's the biggest assets at Man United? And we're really going to have to dig into that bag. If that report is true regarding what the Athletic is saying and Laurie Whitwell, that Man United have 100 million to spend and the rest is players sales, then we have to get into our bag. Obviously, Harry Maguire would top that list. Jordan Astro says, don't worry, we can sell absolute diamonds like Maguire, Phil Jones and Martial for a grand total of £10.50. Obviously being pedantic, but I get where you're coming from. But Harry Maguire could fetch like what? Get your prices. Get your prices in the chat. How much could he fetch? 45 million, 50 maybe at tops. Owen is back. Let's get him back in. He's not happy. He's shaking his head. He's on mute.
Let's not get. I mean, I've had to sprint up some stairs. I mean, it's not
right. I think we need to let him take some breakfast. I think he's look at the stitch. Look at this. The wincing. For me, you do the short, sharp sprint. You ain't got the breath. You've got the side stitch.
I live.
No. Oh, no, we've got to work on this fitness, bro.
No, I don't do stairs, man. I don't do stairs. Carrying those crates with your shopping in. You kidding me? It's a big shop as well. Man. It's late. I shouldn't have to. Oh.
He's so flustered. Well, while you get your breath back, I've been enlightening the viewers for like the last 3 or 4 minutes. Basically talking that we only have 100 minutes to spend. And we got to the point where we were saying about players for sale. The point where everyone's saying, am I crazy? Because I'm talking about what we can get for Harry Maguire. And I said 40, maybe 50 million tops. Everyone's saying, are you crazy? 30 million. No way. Maggie, 35 million max if we're lucky. 20 million. Lucky to get 30. Guys, honestly, if I'm being honest, I know he's rubbish, but there is a bit of a tax you've got to apply. There is a bit. I bet you,
Maguire.
I think Harry Maguire goes for more than £35 million. I bet any one of you now, right now.
How many years he's got left on his contract?
Don't know. Probably 2.
He's on a really long contract.
Yeah, he did. I think he's got like 2, maybe 3.
2. He's 9, something like that.
Yeah. Played
English
over. How many games has he played for Man United? Over 200? Would you say? Over 150? Easy.
150 plus, you'd probably say, wouldn't you?
Yeah. 150 games. Think of the tax. Not that I'm not saying he's wicked. I'm just thinking of the tax.
What Premier League team would he go to, honestly?
It's crazy. I don't know. Spurs. Back to Leicester, 40 mil if they stay up.
Leicester ain't spending 40 mil on Harry Maguire. Have you seen them?
No. 2 + 1 years left. Okay. Honestly, with tax, it'll be more than people think. It might be 40 million max, like Dave Parry says.
I think 40 max. I would say 40 max, but given United's history of selling, given if you were a team that was negotiating for him, you'd probably be thinking, look, he wants to go. United need to sell, particularly with this news coming out this morning about FFP. You know, they need to sell to raise funds. You'd haggle, wouldn't you? You'd haggle and get it probably down to 30, 35, something like that. And to be honest, we can't even be like, I know people are like, you bought him for, I'm still catching my breath. 80, are you going down to, it's always going to be a loss. It was always from day one, it was going to be a loss on Harry Maguire. We were never going to recoup that fee and anything like that. So I'd say I'd be very happy if we got 40, but I'm feeling 30, 35, honestly.
Yeah, you can get 50 from Maguire. I think if like a foreign team, especially if like a foreign team comes in, like, I don't know.
But I see that's the opposite for me.
Yeah.
If it's a foreign team, it's going to be less. We're almost so used to the inflated number that is the Premier League. If it's a Premier League team buying off another Premier League team, because of the money in the Premier League, that's where you get to like a 40 or what have you. But if it's I
think we can get 40. Apologies about the ads, guys.
I said this would happen too.
Apologies. We had to tweak the title, and when you do that, there's a chance that those ads that we've made go away during these lives can come back. But we had to take a chance because it was more relevant to what we were talking about. And we thought YouTube may have fixed it. So apologies. You guys know that when we do our lives, there are never these. Once we managed to work out why that was happening, we stopped it. So I can confirm
that thing that would put them in is not ticked. So it's a YouTube bug.
It's a YouTube bug, right? Okay. Yeah. So apologies. Yeah. But all right. So that's just Maguire. But the rest, 35, 40 million for Maguire, 25, 30 million for McTominay. We're saying, isn't it? About that.
How much for McTominay?
25, 30.
If we're selling him to Newcastle,
we've got to try and get more, but
it's 40 plus. Let's not forget this. People forget. I understand with Newcastle when people are talking about, it's what a turnaround, and it is what a turnaround. You can't argue that. Eddie Howe, and given the players that they've got there, they're somewhat overachieving given the players that they've got. They've got Dan Burn at left back and what have you, right? They've still got Longstaff playing midfield, Callum Wilson up front. But
Jacob Murphy starting on the right.
Yeah. But I think the times of calling them sort of the plucky underdog.
No.
They're the richest team in the world. Yeah. let's forget that. They're the richest team in the world. That when their owners came in last year, they were bottom of the league. They spent a ton in January and shot up to 10th. So if Newcastle going for any player, it doesn't matter who it is, the selling club should be like, look, I know you've got money. I know you've got Champions League football as well, 40 plus. But to be honest, actually, considering it's a top 4 rival, let's put it all on the table. Top 4 rival, they've got money as well. Put it up to 50. How bad do you want him?
Yeah, but they don't. I mean, they bid 50 for James Maddison. That shows you their ballpark. And that's with a team that, obviously, they had to sell Leicester, whatever. Obviously, we go for cheaper than that now, or around the same still if you have to go down. But They don't overpay though, do they? Newcastle, they don't get their pants pulled down. It depends how. Obviously, that's there. If they don't want to, if you don't want him for that, what we say, then fine. But we also have to sell. So yeah, I mean, English tax, Premier League tax. I know he's Scottish, but you know what I mean. English / Premier League
homegrown tax,
homegrown tax. rival tax, just taxing up the situation. I think somewhere between 30 and 40. I don't think he goes for more than 40 million. I said 25 to 30, but I think
I'd be comfortable with 40, but push it.
Yeah. You got to push it. You got to push it. The likes of Tellez and Bailly and guys like that, and Brandon Williams potentially. How many will we be able to sell? That's a big question as well. Because you've got to sell you've got to sell the biggest assets to get the most money, but you also got to trim the ones that maybe aren't worth that much, but just have no business being here anymore.
Well, Brandon Williams, his contract, how much is it? His contract's quite big, isn't it? His wage, isn't it like 80K?
He's got a big deal. Yeah. Like 70, 80K, yeah.
Something like that. So even that makes it big then. Yeah, well, that's because he had was it one good season or half a good season? I mean, people forget he was playing in Europa League semi-finals.
Yeah,
and then, like I said, got that big contract. So even if you got him off the wage books, it'd be helps. Every little helps, as they say, which is a good slogan, not a slogan for Asda, who are a disgrace and they're late. But that would help. Tellez, what did you make of Tellez? After we lost to Sevilla and he was doing the sort of post of it was a great night, blah, blah, blah. Did that bother you at all?
Oh, did he? No, because he's crap. So I don't care.
How did you really feel though?
Because if I was honest, I saw Alex Tellez after the game in Seville. Did he come on? Can't remember if he came on. I think he might have done near the end. But he was in our dressing room for ages. He walked across from their dressing room into ours. And do you know what? Actually, it's quite. You don't always see it behind the scenes. It's interesting to see it. Players, they're just a lot of them. Not that they don't care about the fans or the club, but when you see them behind the scenes, you realize it's just like, and it's going to sound crazy, but it's just like Sunday League. I swear to you, just the way they cross dressing rooms, just chatting, just whatever. We just got battered 3-0. I don't want to talk to anyone as a fan. I'm fuming. Yeah. Obviously, Martial was in their dressing room for ages, crossed over. Obviously, he was there on loan. Eric Ten Hag went into their dressing room, was there for a while, probably congratulating them. Fred was with Tellez for ages, obviously both Brazilian, but again, was probably good friends when the dust settles with the result, it's just another game to them. I'm not saying our players don't care because, when it's come to the pitch, obviously in that game, they showed they didn't care and they got rolled up on, but you'd be surprised what it's like behind the scenes. We think it's as fans, because we're so emotionally invested, we won't sleep for the next couple of days. Look how angry I was after that Sevilla game. Yeah. Look how angry we all was. Yeah. But to them, it's just on to the next. Fly back, training tomorrow, get ready for the semi-final, man. Got Wembley. Got to put it right. It's just the next. Richard Arnold, he went into their dressing room. He was outside ours for a while. Saw him. He went into their dressing room, spent ages in there. It's just what happens. But to answer your question, did I care that Tellez did that? No, because he's crap and we're going to sell him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not, if it was one of our main guys, it would have been a bit of a problem. But the fact that he's twerking for Sevilla, good, twerk for them, get a permanent deal. Can't even get that.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean?
So if we're saying 100 million's available with FFP restrictions, what are we adding on that with player sales, do you think, in terms of a total budget? If we're saying 40 for Maguire, maybe 40 for McTominay, that's 80.
We should be able to raise at least
then the sort of bits and bobs of the rest of them.
Bits and bob, and plus Henderson though, because if we give David De Gea a new deal, we'll sell Henderson.
How much Henderson go for?
Henderson's got to go again. English tax, Sheffield United, got appearance under his belt. Hasn't played as much for Man United though, so he can't really put that one on there to say he's been United's number one or he's got over 100 games for Man United. He hasn't got that.
But he's got a big contract.
Premier League. He's got a big contract. He's got Premier League
time left on it as well. I think he's got 3 years left on his contract.
I would say 30 million, 25, 30 million. Wouldn't be far off that, I don't think.
Yeah, this season hasn't helped.
Yeah, he's had a bad season. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if he would have done really well with Forest and kept them up, then we could have added another 10 on. But the fact that he's been injured for nearly most of his time there, you got to rely on the stuff he done 18 months ago, which is tough. But I think between 20 and 30 might be 20.
But we are saying then. So we are saying
over 100 million we should be able to raise.
Yeah, over 100 million. So we've got a budget of about 200 million. Yeah. Is that enough to do? You think what we want to do in the summer?
No, of course not. because that would be
positions.
Arguably it'd be 200 mil. And this is why, and I'm not trying to take it back to the De Gea thing. I'm not trying to take it back there, but I am taking it back there. Not in defense of him, just in terms of a realization of list of priorities. This is why it's all good saying get rid of De Gea, start there. He's the worst thing since sliced bread. He's holding us back.
The worst thing since sliced bread. I thought sliced bread was good.
Oh yeah, the best thing since sliced bread. Oh yeah, the worst thing.
Because the worst thing is great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sliced bread. Oh yeah, that's a good analogy, isn't it? The best thing since sliced bread. You think it's the best thing since sliced bread, right?
Yeah.
The worst thing since whatever the worst thing ever is.
Sliced bread that's moldy.
Moldy. Yeah. He's the worst. He's the worst thing since moldy sliced bread. Yeah.
Delivered by Asda.
It's early. Yeah. Listen, well, I had to do a disclaimer when you're gone because I said, listen, Asda delivery has been quite good for me. So if they want to sponsor the channel, this is Owen's personal reviews and experiences. But yeah. But yes, what was he saying? Yeah, if you want to do the De Gea thing and get rid, he's rubbish, he's this, that, and the other. If we've only got 200 mil to spend, I don't want to hear the letters DDG out of anyone's mouth. I don't.
He's got to get a new contract, Flex.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever, get a new contract.
Is it fine?
Cool. Yeah, if he's gonna take the less money, I don't mind. Whatever. I trust in Ten Hag. I need to see in my thing. To me, David De Gea, in my opinion, is at best, because I even think it's fourth, but at best, I think he's third priority. That's me allowing a bit more grace. I actually think he's fourth. But I'd say third because it's a starting position. I'd say third because the centre-back situation, we've actually got two starters. I want to invest in the ones that are going to be here after Maguire, who maybe won't start, but the quality. So that's probably...
four starters.
Well, yeah, 100%. Because Varane might not be dependent upon every single week. You might get
Martinez, Lindelof. Sure. Got four.
Yeah. That equally can start. But when Maguire goes, we need like that, we need that someone who's good enough to be able to play in this system and Ten Hag's image. But I could put that fourth then because we've got quite a few already. So for me, if anyone's got David De Gea, which I know a lot of people do, this is my opinion. David De Gea is no higher than third priority on that list. David De Gea is not a bigger priority than Harry Kane. No. And David De Gea is not a bigger priority than getting not one, two, in my opinion, two top-class midfielders.
Technical midfielders.
Technical top-class midfielders. Really good with the ball. The mold of Frankie de Jong. Whoever else is out there, I'm not a perfect scout. I don't watch loads of football in different countries and then or I don't not watch it and then pretend I've seen this guy in Liga who plays for Montpellier and I'm saying he's an expert. I don't do that crap. If I ain't seen him, I ain't seen him. So I don't know who the other players are. I know the main guys. Do you know what I mean? But whoever the next de Jong-esque player is, that type of mold, I need two of them, please.
McAllister.
I'd have him. He's in the mold. I'd have him as a James Maddison. I'd have him. I know he's more of a 10, but he improves us all technically. Bruno can move about a bit. He improves my midfield a lot. He likes the ball at his feet. Good with the ball. I don't mind. Ruben Neves. He can't get about the pitch for me, but I need someone who can travel with the ball quite well. His range of passing's good when he's got time and space. Nice switches. Great striker of the ball. I do need someone who can get on the ball. I do need someone who can travel, win fouls, press resistant, on a half turn, get out of tight situations. I need technical players, but I need two of those. And back to David De Gea, no chance is he more important than getting those type of players. Yeah, Caicedo, exactly. McAllister isn't. Yeah, McAllister is not like how Jude or Frankie de Jong is. He's not exactly. Caicedo, 100%. He's the type of
Would you say though with the De Gea thing? And I'm not playing devil's advocate here. This is
yes, you are.
That's just a little bit. This is my sort of thought process on it. Is that you say it's not a priority, and I agree with you in the sense of there are other more pressing concerns. But in terms of his contract is running out.
Yeah,
we have to agree new terms with him. Because we're not going to trigger the extension. Therefore, in terms of a time aspect, it is a priority, isn't it? We need to figure out
to sort it out. To sort it out, yeah.
What's your limit with that? Because as we get closer,
how much is it going to cost to replace him? For Diego Costa, everyone says go get. How much is it going to cost?
Well, my question to you was, what's your limit? What's your limit in terms of how much money that you're comfortable with.
My limit is we've got FFP where we can only spend 100 million. We need to sell players. So why on earth am I trying to get rid of one of the good ones right now?
This is not the question that I'm asked you. I've said, what is your
limit?
limit?
What are you asking me?
Right. What is your limit in terms of what his wage is going to be? That's my question. Who is the highest paid goalkeeper in the Premier League?
Not my money.
The Kenny cop out.
Kenny cop out. No, what has it been reported? 200K in it.
Yeah. Well, that's what he turned down, apparently.
Do you reckon that's true?
I don't know, man, but I'm just looking at some of these numbers.
That would make me feel uncomfortable. If it was 200K, he's been here a long time. You can't expect him to take peanuts and then, you know what I mean, other man come in and on way more than him. That's not going to happen. Really, I would say somewhere between 150 and 200 I'll be happy with. No more than 200. No more.
200 feels like a lot.
Why? He's going to be the starter.
I know, but just in comparison to everyone else.
Well, mate, in comparison, we ain't got that much money to spend, and we need to raise money to set. We need Harry Kane, bro. Osimhen, top-notch strikers, centre midfielders.
The next highest paid goalkeepers in the Premier League. This might be a bit of an old list, but is Alisson's third apparently on 150K a week. Second is Kepa on 155K a week.
Yeah,
and David De Gea would be on 200. Still 45 more than Kepa, 50K more than Alisson.
Yeah. Well, Liverpool's relative because of the type of club they are and the money that they pay all their players. Like we pay our players a lot of money, like just in general. Do you know what I mean? So I get that. Our players are at a premium anyway. We've got some average squad players that are on way too much money because we just pay too much money. But David De Gea will look at that and say, well, I've been here for ages. I'm still going to be number one in this next stage of the rebuild. And I'm going to be just as important as I ever was. So, you know, to me, while we fix the rest of the squad, if David De Gea wants 175, between 150 and 200, I don't mind.
Edison's on 100K a week.
Well, that's how they run their club. If we, what would the wages be? Because sometimes the package, let's look at the package then. If you keep David De Gea, i.e. you don't spend 50 million on a new goalkeeper, by the way, what would David De Gea be over a couple of seasons at 200 grand a week? Work that out. Let's do a bit of maths.
What was the question again? I was reading the comment.
Right. So what I'm saying, if David De Gea,
someone said it was my phone that was going off. It's not my phone.
No, it's mine. So if David De Gea stays, say he gets he'd probably get a 3-year, wouldn't he? Let's face it. He ain't gonna at this age. He ain't gonna sign just a 1-year pay as you play. He ain't really gonna sign a 2-year. It's got to be at least a 3-year deal, at least a 2+1, maybe even just a straight 3.
Maybe a 3+1. So maybe what was Eriksen's one? Eriksen was like a 3+1. I think it was, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Let's just say it's a 3+1. Yeah. What is 200K a week
times 3
for times 3?
Okay, 3 years. I know. Yeah. 200,000 times 52 times 3. 31.2 million. 31.2 million. This new keeper, because remember, this is actually less about just the ability of making us better. It's actually about FFP and money and what's more cost effective for us to do because we've got other priorities. So that's 30. How much? 30 million. 31.2.
31.2 million. This new keeper that we want, Costa, even if it's Raya for 40 odd million, that's already 10 million more. Do that keeper for 40 million or 50 million we have to spend on a new keeper, plus give them 150 grand a week. What's that for 5 years?
Yeah.
So let's say the new keeper is
40 million.
What we're saying, 40.
Let's say it was Raya, do you think it'd be 50?
All right, 40 million. 40 million. And you have to give him 150 grand a week, let's face it.
For how many years?
Well, if you sign David Raya, you sign him for 5.
5 years, okay.
So 5+1.
Times 52 times 5. 39 plus 40. 79 million.
Right, so 80 million. Can we afford an outlay of 80 million on a goalkeeper right now when we need a striker for 100? And I know it's staggered because you're paying it each year.
Over 5 years.
Can we commit to that now when we need to commit to Harry Kane for 5 years at 300 grand a week? When we need to commit to a Frankie de Jong type for over 100 grand a week, another Frankie de Jong type for over 100 grand a week, and we've only got 100 million plus we need to sell players.
Well, if I go back to my original question was, what are you comfortable with? What are you comfortable with?
200, and I've just showed you why.
He signs 200k, and you're like,
for 3 years.
You're happy with that?
Happy with that. Considering the position we are in, and we got other bigger fish to fry, as Arsenal say.
Yeah,
it costs more. It costs more to get a replacement for David De Gea now than it does to keep him for a couple of years and go and address what we need to address.
I don't necessarily disagree with a lot of your points there, and I don't, because we've had this conversation a lot off the air. I just, like I said, that's one of my sort of points where I go, but to be honest, that De Gea part of the situation, we are dealing with the sins of the past there, aren't we? If he was on, at the moment, 200k, and you could then drop it to
you could drop it 100%.
The problem is that we're dealing with exactly. We're dealing with a contract that's 375k a week. So the drop.
Do you know what's even positive?
The drop up to 200's a lot.
A lot. That's what I was going to say. We're dropping him 175k. If anything, it shows that at least Eric Ten Hag's going, you can't be on that. You can't be. Obviously, it won't just be Ten Hag. He doesn't even deal with the finances. But essentially, there is the fact that you're dropping his wages and trying to find a place. You are almost saying, listen, we will still be looking.
Yeah.
Like we are, like, do you know what I mean? And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with the transition, by the way, guys. And also, Eric Ten Hag, I think he is also thinking, I need to be absolutely sure in this new goalkeeper. I need to be able to spend big on it and know that that's the right guy. And in transition, when I have to get a striker, I have to get more midfielders. I need more technical players, man. I just think it's crazy to start at De Gea and use the bulk of your... Because if you think about it, trying to get a keeper, if we've only got 100, is half of our budget before he's even sold anyone. That means we're saying that David De Gea is our greatest problem. Not the fact that Martial's never fit and we can't score 25 goals. Not the fact that the only technical player we've got in midfield is Christian Eriksen, who's 30 and not full of dynamism. Those aren't big problems. Let's change. We start with a keeper. I don't care. FFP, we've only got 100 million to spend, right? Just get him out at any cost. Don't worry about up front. Go and get a cheap guy who's not. I'd rather have anyone up there. Just change De Gea. Nah.
But this is what makes me laugh with it as well, is because people want to talk about stats when it comes to David De Gea, with crosses being claimed or passing or distribution or what have you. We are legitimately talking about a guy that has kept the most clean sheets in the Premier League this season by a couple now, isn't it? I think he's 2 ahead of Nick Pope at this point. You also want to talk about goals conceded. People have spoken openly, but this is the same goalkeeper. I saw a really strange tweet. Someone saying this is the same goalkeeper that conceded, it was like 13 goals in 3 games this season, referring to our big defeats. But I went, well, you can select any games that you want when it comes to that. If you look at actual goals conceded in the Premier League this season, Flex, we've conceded the same amount of goals as Arsenal. We've conceded less amount of goals than Liverpool, than Spurs, then Aston Villa, then Brighton, who we play tonight, then Brentford, all of whom these goalkeepers we've been linked to. Now, granted, you could say, we've played less games, but as things are going, what if he keeps more clean sheets? Which is what he's been doing this season as well. But apparently, Flex, that's not him. That's the defense.
No, exactly. And look, listen. When I was in Seville, right, I saw that with my own eyes. I couldn't defend that.
Oh,
I went, you know what? If a new guy comes in, because we're looking at, but also what we can't, the same way how we've managed to improve. We've got to 3rd. Well, arguably 3rd, but 4th. All right, cool. But we're competing for 3rd, yeah, and we could well finish 3rd. We'll see. Maybe we'll fall short. I don't care. 3rd or 4th, right, from where we were. It shows that if he does play with a better defense and better players, and the team goes up another level, gets better midfielders, retain the ball, all these things that tactical guys talk about, retaining the ball and all this stuff, it's going to be less emphasis on De Gea anyway, in the short term, for at least another season to get by until we stabilise. That's why I don't understand where, the same way how David De Gea has managed to improve with this team, it's the same way that he can probably do it again for one more year when the team gets even better. Because let's think about it. Has David De Gea stopped Man United competing with Arsenal this season? Is that the reason? Is the reason why we couldn't go one further because of David De Gea?
No, No,
It's
no,
not, is it? It's not.
and again,
It's not.
when people talk about these things like the clean sheets or the goals conceded, and they say, "Oh, it's just because of the defense." Well, if you think about it, like yes, obviously Martinez and Varane, they've been a revelation at centre back, but David De Gea's played with, I mean, oh my goodness me, how many different combinations of 4 defenders in front of him this season?
Yeah.
It's been Varane and Shaw, Varane and Martinez,
Mina
and
says,
Maguire and Lindelof. Carry on.
Mina says clean sheets is a team thing. It ain't a goalkeeper thing. I disagree. I think it's both. I don't think it can't, because to say it's not a goalkeeper thing. That means that against Leicester, when in the first 25 minutes, Harvey Barnes is clean through and Iheanacho has that header, then De Gea makes 2 brilliant saves. That was nothing to do with the defense. That was the defense getting played through, and David De Gea literally had to save his own clean sheet. So if Mina's saying that it's not a goalkeeper thing, that means that goalkeepers can't keep clean sheets by themselves, which they can, because by making big saves that they're not expected to make, or just really good saves because you're a good keeper, that in that moment it's not to do with the defense. In that moment,
it's like this. Oh, no, I've clicked the wrong one because the chat's popping off. Animal says Owen against Forest 0 saves, but De Gea gets credit for what? The point being is, so for instance, in that you can say, the defense plays very well and he didn't have to make saves. But in certain games, when he does make saves, you don't go, that was a great team save.
Yeah, exactly. So it's both.
Like West Ham at Old Trafford, he made saves. I particularly remember that game in particular. Declan Rice whipped one top corner, like last minute of the game.
Declan Rice hands on his head like that.
Yeah, makes a save and wins us the game. You don't go, great team save there. You go, that's a save that won us a game and kept a clean sheet. You know. Yeah.
And that's the thing.
And I think this isn't goalkeepers' union, but it does a disservice to the goalkeeper.
It's just the fact that both. It's just the fact that both statements are true. Like I don't like the whole. It's like, because Mina's saying it's not a goalkeeper thing. So then what is it when he's making saves when flipping Luke Shaw gets nutmegged and then Castagna gets down the side and they cross it and it's just David De Gea and Iheanacho and he pulls out a world-class save? What happens when we lose the ball in midfield? I think it was, I can't remember in that game who lost it. Then I think they play a 1-2 with Harvey Barnes and Iheanacho play a 1-2. Harvey Barnes should score. David De Gea, bang, right hand, fast save. That's the defense being shit in that moment. And David De Gea had to save them. The same way how the defense will save David De Gea. When David De Gea kicked out the ball, against Barcelona, when it was 1-0 to them and Casemiro had to come flying back, he saved us. That was David De Gea's fault. Like Animal says, it's called doing his job. So doing his job is being part of that defense. It's all collective. This
is the thing with that as well. Is so when he makes a save, he should be making a save.
Yeah, exactly.
But the problem is we see in other Premier League games goalkeepers not making those saves. So are they not doing their jobs in that instance? And if you're if you're defining it as that, it's called doing his job. That's basically saying that's what a goalkeeper should be doing, stopping shots, which is the primary function of a goalkeeper. I've wrapped you up in your own logic.
Listen, mate, I took the hit off everyone who didn't understand why I was asking Eric Ten Hag the question I asked him in that presser.
Do you know the problem is with that is just what happened the day after, isn't it?
Of course, absolutely. And I had to hold that.
The judge with no touch. The judge with no touch.
There you go. I didn't even touch him. So the judge really judged that day. However, though, you get my gist of what I was trying to do. The angle was trying to come out. I wanted to ask our manager what the most important function of the keeper is, i.e., is it distribution or is it saving shots? Now, obviously, people say he's never going to throw his players under the bus. It's like Maguire. It's like Ronaldo. He's never going to say anything bad about them. But, guys, we know when there's defending a player because you've got to take the heat off them versus basically laughing at me, him and Christian, laughing at me to say, save shots, mate. What are you asking? What's this guy on? I had a little bit of that. I had to go through that to get the point. MUFC says, you man saying De Gea hasn't cost us, LOL. How many clangers has he made? Hilarious comment, Flex. I'm not saying he hasn't cost us. What I'm saying is he also hasn't stopped us getting to where we want to be, like how you man are making out. Here's the question. Has De Gea won us more points this year or lost us more points?
Yeah, I feel your words have been twisted there. I feel like the point you were making is that has De Gea stopped us? Well, the actual thing you were saying is De Gea the reason why basically we haven't been level with City or Arsenal this
Exactly.
season. Of course, there have been games where his mistakes have cost us points, or maybe his performances may have cost us points. But David De Gea is not the sole reason for us not winning the Premier League or anything this season. There have been plenty of games in the Premier League this season with keepers that people want, where they have made mistakes that has cost their teams points or cost them the game. Look at Aaron Ramsdale just a couple of weeks ago, Southampton. If he doesn't make that mistake in the opening couple of minutes, Arsenal, they'll probably win that game. It might put them at a disadvantage. And
has he cost them the title?
No,
has
he wouldn't say that. You know
what I mean?
It's
saying. Bullshit.
I've seen stuff on social media. Cam the other day was trying to say, "Oh, look at this! It was the same mistake he made a couple of years ago at Wembley or something like that." It was from an account that was a Dean Henderson fan account. I went, well, they lost all credibility when the pictures of Dean Henderson Abbey. I couldn't believe it.
Some people want Dean Henderson to just come back and play because it's better than having De Gea. What evidence is there that Dean Henderson is better than David De Gea? You off your rocker? I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. Honestly.
I also saw him defending the Dean Henderson interview. If you want to go
again, because he probably defended Ronaldo's interview as well. What did he say that's wrong? He's right. Cam, disgrace cheat. Mark Khan is a disgrace and cheat. Owen, what diet are you on? What you and KG on? Do a stream of your fitness program because it will be more enjoyable than watching Flex messing up his passes and shots on FIFA. Disgrace cheat. What about KG messing up his shots and passes? It's a team game. One that you was all against us actually, and we came back from 2-0 down our last game against Leicester. Where are you now? Let's be having you. Mina with amazing ideas. We went back to our formation, calmed ourselves down, won the game. Doesn't matter where we are in the league and all of that. We're going to get back to what me and KG do best. Allow you haters.
Well, I know there were, to go back to the question at hand there, I know at one point there was plans for to do that on KG's channel. I don't know, but I don't know how well both of our respective diets are going right now. Right. So I'm not sure.
You don't really want to give me advice.
No. But just to recap, in case you guys didn't,
why am I catching strays, man? Why you're catching strays. You know why. No, I'm not going to tell her. No, I'm not going to explain it. I'm just saying, why you're catching strays.
Well, I think it's fair to have,
They're not strays. They're direct. They're directed. They're not strays. Strays means it didn't mean to get you. This is meaning to get you. Sorry.
It's fair to have representation. So I feel like it's only fair to have Mina's side of the argument.
Oh my God. You guys suck.
So that's just...
You're not American. Why'd you say you guys suck? You're not American. You're not American.
That's a good comeback there, Flex.
Yeah, I know it is. You're not American. Why are you saying that? What was he playing? We were not playing FIFA. We were playing Soccer All-Stars, were we?
Video games is what you're playing.
Yeah, exactly. So how can you say we suck?
I can be honest, honestly, guys, and this is no joke. This is not even playing up for the stream or anything like that. That stream ended, and it was a very hostile atmosphere in that room. Like the energy was negative during the stream. After the stream, it was very real. I mean, it was heavy atmosphere. It was and me and Josh couldn't help ourselves. We were just heckling you from the desk. We were like those two old men out of the Muppets heckling the show. I really enjoyed myself.
But it was great. It's a really important lesson for me and KG because we just drowned out the haters. Really, at 2-0 down. Look, back-to-back losses in me in a stupid formation that didn't work. All these losses, all this, that. We went, you know what? Let's just drown it out. And then 2-0 down, everyone was like, look at him. We went, don't worry. We came back. So
because you were acting mad. You were doing some crazy stuff. You're talking about how good Flay G is. You're like 15th.
Yeah,
Man United. Do you know how much money you spent? How much money did you spend?
Yeah, a lot. Too much. But we'll be all right.
Well, lots of super chats, by the way.
Yes, I'm going to read them right now. We do have loads. Jeez, sorry, guys. All of a sudden, they've just disappeared from my screen. All right, there they are. Tough game. Maybe take a point straight away. Right, Dan Lucy. Okay, I've read that one. Jordan says, don't worry. We can sell absolute diamonds like Maguire. I've read that one. PS says, with all the players we can get most 80 million in sales, we have to also go through the loan and free transfer market. Felix, Thuram, Tillemans, etc. Raul says, Flex, did you ever have beef with Howson and McCullough? No, I didn't. Didn't have beef. No. I think sometimes on the internet, people can make things up, or some people don't want to talk to some people because of this, that, and the other. But just get on with it. Like, stop being a kid. But no problem with either of those guys, man. Speaking to McCullough the other day, Cool, man. Colour's cool. Nicholas says, we get charged homegrown tax. We don't charge it. True. SK says, sell Hendo, Maguire, buy Williams, Telles, McTominay, Van der Beek. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Donny. And Elanga. Easy over 100 mil. SK also says, less than 250 mil to spend on a striker, central midfielder, CDM, centre back, then goalkeeper for me. Yep, agreed. Kids learn maths. This is why we need it. Our club is so useless. We have to become accountants for it. Ahmed says, great, another 3 years of Marcel Ratcliffe moaning about David De Gea. Yay. We've read that one about De Gea from MUFC saying he has made clamours, and that was a hilarious comment from me. Big up to you, MUFC. Mark Khan says, Owen, we read that one. And MUFC says, he's 100% cost us this season. Our defence is strong. Okay, so it's all De Gea's fault. Fair enough. And Show Rahman says, baffles me how United fans can't see how much David De Gea is holding us back. So blatantly obvious, Eric Ten Hag can't play his style until we replace David De Gea. And do you know what? Even that bit there, because there's a video coming out with myself, and we talk Ajax very soon. I forgot about that, actually. And Ajax had some very interesting things to say about David De Gea. Some very hurtful things. Some very hurtful things. But I don't disagree with that bit there where the super chat says, so from Show Rahman, where he says it's so blatantly obvious that Eric Ten Hag can't play his style until we replace David De Gea. I don't 100% disagree with that.
Is it bad what you were saying about De
Gea? It was like the back end of what Show Rahman said. He needs to. He eventually he's going to have to. Ten Hag can't play with that system. He needs to keep it to be more comfortable with his feet. Yeah, did say that.
Difficult.
You just made me do a spoiler now, Owen. Well done.
Well, no, I'm just another spoiler. It's difficult to disagree with him in person because he's big.
Oh yeah, and mate, he's seen the Eric Ten Hag style for years under Ajax. So and you know what? That's why I'm holding my hands up and saying, listen, I don't necessarily disagree with that bit, Show Rahman. Will Eric Ten Hag's finished article be what it needs to be with David De Gea there? No, I can agree with that. What we're talking about is having to do it now. I'm saying I would rather flush everything out and arrive at the keeper last. Other people are saying, change it now. He needs to go. He's the biggest of our problems. And that's the bit I disagree with. I believe he's one of, in terms of our end goal. But the end goal you can reach in many ways. The end goal needs to be reached right now. The next step to reach the end goal needs to be get us a world-class striker. That needs to be the next thing. Then in the same window, because not even get us a world-class striker, but keep the same midfield. We need to get the midfield now as well as part of the next stage. So that's why it's just always third for me. But I don't disagree that you're saying Ten Hag's system won't be Ten Hag's system until De Gea is gone. Keegan says, thank you for super chat. Says, are we doing FPL review? No, we started that at the beginning of the season. It was just...
I tell you what, me and you might be some of the worst fantasy Premier League players ever.
Oh, I'm the worst. I am the worst.
We just give up after week 2. A week, yeah. You know what I mean?
As soon as someone gets injured or something
this season, it has been hard as well because there is a game every 2 days. So it's really difficult to know when the deadlines are and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, Flex is just laziness on our part, really.
Yeah, 100%. SK says, if you had to put a percentage contribution to clean sheets, what is it? For me, goalkeeper is 55 to 60%, and the back four is 45 to 40%. What? That's a good question. What percentage contribution would you give to clean sheets from the keeper and back four? How would you split it?
I would say I would say the keeper does take the majority, but that's not to rule out what the defense does. Obviously, you know what? I think it is. I think it is quite close like that. But to be honest, it's a difficult one because it really does depend on the game, doesn't it? I think that is kind of a fluctuating number because, as the point was made earlier, you can have games where the goalkeeper has nothing to do. And that's a clean sheet that counts towards the keeper. It doesn't really have a lot on the keeper, does it? Because he didn't have many saves to make.
Exactly.
There can be games where the defense is all over the place, but the keeper makes it just so many saves over and over and over again. That's a goalkeeper's clean sheet. So it's very difficult to say, isn't it?
Mina doesn't think it can be quantified.
Well, Mina's a big hater. That's why.
Talk about catching strays. Jesus. Wow. Well, Mina's a big hater. That's why. Jeez, that was uncool. Oh, Wow, that was strong. That sounded like a little bit of a, you've been logging a few Mina receipts there and it's been getting under your skin a little bit. You just had to, wow.
Actually, to be fair, me and Mina don't disagree.
Damn it, and I thought we was cool.
We are cool, actually. We are cool.
Oh, this would cheer up.
This would cheer up the mood.
Owen.
Do you want to find a picture of Marcel?
David De Gea signs a new 3-year deal at 200k a week.
Dubravka says I'm coming back.
No, Dubravka retires. Dubravka retires after being released by Newcastle. This is like, was it Have I Got News for You? Or Never Mind the Buckles.
Yeah, Have I Got News for You? Yeah, a caption. Jan Sommer says, I don't want to be at Bayern anymore. Send me to Manchester. A new scientific study has revealed that time indeed does not exist.
Marcel on the train towards the Brighton game for an 8 o'clock kickoff, but getting there at 10.
Well, yeah. When you try and wish Marcel a happy birthday, then he explains to you that birthdays don't exist either.
Oh. Marcel when David De Gea missed the penalty in the Europa League final. Jack Butland is United's new number 1. Oh, you lot are funny, man. Oh, God. Marcel, you are brilliant. I love Marcel, man.
I do too. Like, again, that screen grab is from the latest episode of UV Raw, which is appropriately titled Marcel Madness, because it's an entire episode about him. And it's incredible. I mean, that's just one part as well at the end.
Venus says when you ask Marcel what country he's from, and he says he doesn't believe in borders. It's Minna, it's all one world. Minna, think about this, Minna. It's one globe. It's one globe. You can't quantify or say what place is what place. It's all part of the same earth. I'm not from somewhere else. Why am I in Europe? I'm not from Europe. No, I'm not from Europe. You can't say you're from Asia or you can't say you're from Africa. It's all one globe fleck. There's no such thing as borders. That was a good one. Minna. That was a good one. Oh, I love Marcel, man. Oh, he's brilliant. I'm going to bring this up with him. He's coming to the game with me later on today.
It's great.
Oh, just quickly, actually, because we're near the end of the show. Varane injury boost, actually. Ten Hag did say, he confirmed that Leacher obviously would definitely not play again this season.
No chance.
I don't even know why that was even a thing. Did people think that he could have?
I think it was a thing because metatarsal injuries, David Beckham or Wayne Rooney, when people did them in April, but those were for tournaments in June, which I suppose that the FA Cup final is at the start of June. So maybe people were sort of thinking metatarsal, you never know, but it's just a bit too much, isn't it? It's a bit too much too soon. And to be honest, obviously, look, it'd be ideal to have Leacher and Varane back at centre-back, but having Varane back...
Can I ask you a question?
With Shaw? I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. And you're going to ask me, and I'll flip it Missy Elliott style, flip it back down and reverse it, whatever she said. Yeah? And that was right, wasn't it? Was that right? Was it close?
Put my thing down, flip it and reverse it. And then she says the bit that actually is backwards. So it's like, it actually is backwards. Yeah. But that was just really funny to see.
You're going to say...
What am I... Since you know everything, Mystic Man, what am I going to say?
She's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Did you know that? Missy
Rock
Elliott.
and Roll? Oh,
yeah.
Big up Missy, man.
But the question you were going to say is...
What was my question?
Who should actually start? Should it be Lindelof or Varane? Because Lindelof's doing everything that Varane's doing right now. So who should actually start? That's what you're going to say.
It wasn't going to be...
Was I right?
Not really. Partially right. Because that's the two players I was going to talk about.
You're partially right.
The reason why you're not fully right is because what I was going to say is how much game time or minutes would Varane need for us to be able to trust him to come in out the cold after like 2 months out? That's my question. Versus Lindelof, who's played every week and he's playing well. Listen, the Ghost, the Wraith, the Phantom is my favorite player. You lot know what he means to me. So this is me being very unbiased now. I'm just being honest now. No agendas. Because him coming in to face City after not having kicked a ball for nearly 2 months.
Mm.
That's a big problem. If we're being honest. So what my question was going to be was not the thing what you said, but it was more so, how many minutes does he need? How many games does he need? Because you can't just throw him in against the best team in the land in the biggest occasion ever when he hasn't played in 2 months. Or is it the Ghost of Rafe the Phantom, 4 Champions Leagues, whatever he's won, knows what big games are, World Cup final, he can do it. So what? That's my question. So you were wrong.
I'm glad you brought this up, because this was something I was discussing yesterday during the press conference, and I was looking at sort of those last 2 games. You look at 2 home games, Chelsea and Fulham. If you could get him back for then, maybe he doesn't play all of them in both. Maybe he comes on against Chelsea. Maybe he starts against Fulham. You sort of build him up that way, because hopefully by that last game of the season, everything's kind of done. It's a bit of a pedestrian game anyway. You know, sort of just get your reps in, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then he would be ready for the final. But I would say he needs at least a 90 and maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
What say you?
Literally that. It depends obviously on top 4, what goes on. Man United could surprise us and win the next 3 in a row. Then it's done. They could also not surprise us, which would be not winning tonight. Not winning at West Ham. And be like, bloody hell, we need these 3 wins quick. So, you know, you just don't know how it's going to go. But the way Ten Hag's talking about him, Varane is very positive, though. Do you know what I mean?
He was going to be back quicker than McTominay, didn't he?
Yeah,
McTominay's
exactly.
back
McTominay said
around
soon. Yeah, so that means he's quite imminent for being back in the squad. So I think this should be all right. People are saying there, Varane and Lindelof, and put Luke Shaw back to left back, mate. Would you do that? Because you're still going to have Malacia in the final, or Dalot left back out of position, or whatever. Are we forgetting that Luke Shaw is actually the top left? Like, he is a wicked left back. Or do you want him just centre against Haaland, left-footed? He likes that balance.
Well, also the only thing I would maybe say with the Lindelof and Varane, a lot of composure, good on the ball. Where is like big recovery pace in there? That's the only thing with Luke Shaw that I like about him. I think we saw it a lot against Spurs in particular.
Yeah, he's wicked.
His recovery pace is really good. And that's the only thing I would say. And look, it does mean something that Varane and Shaw, they did well against Erling Haaland earlier on this season.
100%.
Against Grealish, against
Luke Shaw in
Silva.
particular.
Yeah, they did well. There's something to be said about that, isn't there?
Yeah, I actually, because it's such a one-off historic game. It's a final. It's the last game of the season. I would play Luke Shaw left centre back, no matter what happens, whoever's back fit.
I would.
Just for the balance of having that left footer, the aggression that he has, how good he is in the air, strong, powerful. I'm having him. Recovery pace. If someone gets turned, I'm having him all day. Left centre back. I think we sort out the left back situation. If Malacia has a good end to the season, I think Malacia did play in that game.
I think he did, or you got the option of putting Dalot in there because Wan-Bissaka would be on the right.
Exactly.
You know.
Do I trust Malacia up against Mahrez? Says Lewis. Yeah, I do. And it probably won't even be Mahrez.
Dalot or Malacia on the left. If you had to pick today.
Dalot and Wan-Bissaka
me
on the other side.
Me too.
Yeah, I'll go with the experience
for a big game.
Calmness.
For a big game. Yeah.
Just the calmness. It's not saying Malacia can't do it because he's played against Liverpool at home. He's done really well. Played against flipping Barcelona away. Done really well. Do you know what I mean? He's played in big games for us where you're like, bloody hell. But if you ask me to pick right now, I'd pick Dalot. Smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. It's match day. How do you guys feel? Do you think we can do it against Brighton? I don't think we're going to win. I don't think we can win. I don't. No, we can win. Of course, we can win any game.
Of course, we can.
I just don't think we will win tonight. I think a draw at best. I'm really pessimistic, and I've got to make that trip down there tonight. I'm going to the game, and I just think our demons of what happens away from home will just happen again.
I just want to see a reaction. I want to see if there's a setback in the game, which there will be. I want to see us respond to it. If we go 1-0 down, I don't want it to be, well, it's game over, we're going to lose. I want to see us fight back. If we go 1-0 up and it goes back to 1-1, I want to see us react. If we go 2-0 up and they bring back to 2-1, I want to see us react. I want to see us manage the game. Unfortunately, we haven't seen that much this season, but If we win today, that is a massive
Huge
step to top 4.
If we win today, I would be confident in going to West Ham and winning as well.
Well, by the end of this weekend, it could be near enough done, couldn't it? 2 wins,
exactly.
Then you've got the rest of the season to get another.
But this is Man United, and they make us keep doing this. I know this team.
Believe.
I can't see it. I think a draw at best, personally.
Believe.
And I hope I'm wrong. And I hope, please, by when would I be recording my review? Like game finish at 10, probably like 10:30. By 10:30, please tune in. And I just really want to be going, wow, I can't believe it. I never saw that coming. That's all I want to say. I was wrong. I don't know. I can't, mate. It's been too many games. Been let down. Away from home. I believe at home. Away, different question. Against the top half. Anyway, guys, see you later on. Keep everyone company on the match view. And we'll see you again later on. Peace.